Hey guys, Postron here, and let's quickly talk about the build that I've been running in Endless Heist, which is my Spectral Helix cast on crit Winter build. This is kind of inspired by what Jungron did in Endless Delve. It's really, really fun actually because of how Deadeye exactly works, but I'm going to show you a quick heist, how this one looks like in action. I also want to talk about what I think about Endless Heist in general. Spoiler alert, I'm a little bit disappointed, but I will talk about why. But yeah, some thoughts about that. Also, if you want to check out what I'm doing, twitch.tv/Paustron, we're streaming all of this live. All of the, I think at this point I'm like 19 hours in. All of the hours went on stream. And yeah, check it out, hang out with us, but let's get into the showcase. So the reason this one works is because of this starting dagger that you get, which is Fragment of Eternity, right? It has a ton of crit. It is a dagger. It gives you power charges. It gives you crit multi. It has decent attack speed. It basically has everything that you would want from a cast and crit build. And from level 55 onward, we actually leveled with this one. Now let's get through a quick heist here. I'm currently level 80. This is solo self-found softcore actually. Now this is how the build looks like. Now in terms of how you're gonna heist with this, in general, I think the best strat is you just go in and you don't really kill stuff, and you kill stuff on the way out, right? Sometimes you loot, depends on what you have. I should have gone for the question mark there, but yeah, you just loot on the way in, and then on the way out you do some mobs at the end. Always go for the unique containers if you're on solo self-found, because yeah, for example, right now what I'm trying to upgrade is into a lore weave, which I would need a ton of unique rings for, but I'm almost halfway there. So let's see what we have. This is now like, we're now at end of day 2 basically, so let's quickly see how this goes. Now this build really has no problem with an assault of enemies, because mostly what you're going to do is you're going to freeze everything. We have a ton of evasion. We have our mana cost is sorted out with EB, right? And all you do here is you place the Hydrosphere, you kill some mobs, you move on, and yeah, you just see the Eye of Winters exploding on enemies. And the thing about Deadeye is, which you can see here if you look at the walls, is everything can chain off of walls, which is completely huge for heist, right? Because there's walls everywhere, so you will just be chaining around like crazy. I think if you want to play a build like this in Endless Heist, I would definitely recommend to do Deadeye. But yeah, this is how it looks like basically, and that's your playstyle. You have a lot of movement speed because you're Deadeye, because we also went for it. We have Onslaught on kill, we have Tailwind. Altogether just makes for a really comfy playstyle. Now onto the build. What we did for the first 55 levels is actually we leveled as Poisonous Concoction, and the reason simply is that in order for this build to work, you need both Ricochet and Endless Munitions. So at level 55, we respec once we got those Ascendancy points. And what we did is we went actually hit-based with Poisonous Conch, and we went for normal attack damage, crit strikes. The only poison cluster we took was, I think we didn't take these, was this cluster here. And I think we took the, yeah, Recover Life on Kill, which was very, very nice. The reason you still want to take this is because you still do a little bit of poison damage, and this gives attack speed, which not only matters for your poison, it also matters for your hit portion. I think we took this one at the end, but I'm not even sure if we took this one in the end. We definitely went for Point Blank down here. So this whole region you will respec later, but it's still very, very worth to go for just for Point Blank alone. Then we went up here to Aspect of the Links. This will also be respec. Now basically all we do in this build is we cast Spectral Helix, which whenever it hits an enemy is gonna fire off Eye of Winter, and it all revolves around this dagger, as I said. Everything else is pretty much cookie cutter. The only good item we have right now is Death's Rush. If you can somehow chance into this one, it's actually insane. So if I would spend my chance orbs on anything, it would be this ring. It just gives you Onslaught on kill, not chance on kill. It's always up. It is on kill 100% of the time. You get life, huge amounts of Chaos Reg, which is premium in some of the layouts. Unless you completely ignore those layouts, you get flat accuracy. There's everything here that you would want. What a great ring, right? We got a sick 5-link for now. Now the thing right now is, once we get our 6-link, we can get in Cold Pen. And the problem is, some of the enemies, some of the rares that give a lot of XP that we would want to kill are just kind of unkillable because they have like 70 or 80 res even, right? So just having the last link against those enemy would more than double our damage, in fact. So we're still waiting for that. But other than that, we're just looking for life resistancers. There's no crafting bench and we're on solo self-found, so we have to make do with what we have. Nothing really special. We found a Quicksilver Flask. We found a Quartz Flask. Other than that, nothing really exciting. We still have this Mana Flask, which is probably not that important anymore. In our main links, we have Spectral Helix, supported with Cast on Crit, Eye of Winter, and then our next two links are simply increased crit and increased crit damage. Now, if you're on trade, obviously you probably won't need increased crit strikes because you can just get some crit on your gear, but here it's not going to work out, right? And the good thing about using double of these crit support gems is also that you can make use of the mastery here, which gives +3 to all level of crit support gems, which affects cast on crit. It affects increased crit damage and increased crit strikes. As for our auras, right now we're kind of switching around. Like, we're switching around gear. Sometimes we use Purity of Elements if we need to. Right now we do not. We're using Grace with Precision. Precision is incredibly important in this build. Summon Skitter Bots and then Herald of Ice. Now, if we get a little bit more mana, we can actually squeeze in the Zealotry instead of the Skitter Bots. Right now, we can't quite do that because Precision reserves too much mana. That's just going to be something that we're going to get the more levels we have. As for Ascendancy, the huge thing about Deadeye is Ricochet. This is actually incredible with both Spectral Helix and also Eye of Winter. Obviously, as you probably know, Eye of Winter needs a chain to chain from Hydrosphere to an enemy, right? And getting that chain is basically impossible. You can't just hope to get a Snake Pit unique ring, right? So just being Deadeye gives you so much flexibility just from that. But the second part of this Ascendancy that usually goes overlooked, projectiles have 30% chance to be able to chain when colliding with terrain, is huge for Heist because there's walls around you. It's very claustrophobic, right? It just chains like crazy. It is perfect for Heist in every sense of the word. We're also getting additional projectiles, always good. You get Tailwind, right? Not being able to get Hunter Boots, especially on SSF, this is just huge. This with the Gale Force on top, this gives you 20% more action speed. Insane. Also really good for the projectile speed that both your Eye of Winter and your Spectral Helix get on top. And Focal Point at the end. Now, this one is not really just for the damage. The big part here is the 25% less damage taken from other enemies near your marked enemies, which is basically always, like I said, everything is very cramped together. So if you just mark any enemy, which we do through a cast when damage taken, everything around it does 25% less damage, which is insane. So yeah, overall, I think Deadeye is huge. You could also go with Raider, but then you would have to think about how to get a chain. This build without a chain is not even, it's not really that good, right? So I would just urge you, if you want to do anything like this, to go with Deadeye. Other than that, our passive tree is basically just looking like this. So what we're going for is basically off the charts here. We go through the projectile damage. Down here, we want to go for the life. Now, usually I would stop here, but we're going for the attack speed. And movement speed and Heist is just premium. So these nodes just give us a lot of spell suppress, give us more access to life, which can be a problem on the right side of the tree. As you can see here, we're right now pathing to the Constitution wheel as well. We want to be at around about 200% life in the end. Other than that, we stop here, right? It would be nice to get the crit, but we just can't really make it work. It's too many points. Just get a lot of attack speed, get a lot of accuracy. And then what we did on this side here is obviously we went for the crit mastery. We went for Harrier just to have another slot for your jewel. You can also go for the res. We went through here. We're evasion based and we're also spell suppress based. What we did is we went for overcharge. The thing is, on kill and Heist basically is always up. And sometimes I have some problems with frenzy and endurance charges. Power charges are basically always up because we also get chance from the Fragment of Eternity. I think what I will do in the end, if frenzy and endurance charges will be a problem, is I will take the mastery with 100% increased charge duration. Usually not really needed, but sometimes when you stand at doors, it can be annoying because they just run out without you being able to do anything. Next thing we're also going to take is Mage Bane. Right now it's not quite worth it, but we're going to go for Mage Bane, the whole Constitution wheel right here. Maybe even this jewel if we get that far. Probably going to take this life node here, maybe this life node there. We went for some increased movement speed if you haven't been hit recently, which is quite a lot, right? Other than that, nothing special. I guess this wheel here, which I've never taken before, it's actually a first-timer. This is actually incredible with EB, because you get a flat 50 energy shield whenever you suppress spell damage, which is huge. That's like 1/4 of all the energy shield we have, so that's huge. We, on the elemental wheel here, we went for the elemental damage leeches energy shield. Just if enemies hit you, to still give you energy shield to cast your spells, right? Or cast your Spectral Helix, I should say. We can't really go avoid elemental ailments yet because we don't have Shaper bases at the moment, but we want to be at 100% in the end, so that's kind of why we went here, but it's just nice spell damage, a little bit chance to block spell damage, but yeah, pretty cookie cutter. Just go for as much life, spell suppression, and damage as you can. Now, as for my thoughts on the league in general, so right now I have around about 19 hours played, so I'm not going super hard this time around, but I will definitely say that the start is rough. So the first, I don't know, 20 levels are just abysmal, but it gets worse and worse over time because they just did not really think about how the XP scaling works. And I would have just hoped that GGG would put a little bit of time and effort into that instead of just shitting out this event, which it felt like. So just to give you a little bit of a disclaimer, once you're level 68, the progress that you have will explode. It will go through the roof. And that's because that's where Heist is usually thought. That's where it is in the base game, right? But before that, they didn't really put much thought into it. Just to give you a little bit of a comparison here, I took longer from level 66 to 67 than from 68 to 74. So your XP per hour will just explode once you're at level 68. So if you want to get to level 90 for the extra rewards or whatever you want to place on the ladder, wait until you get to level 68. You have to get through that slog, especially level 50 to level 60, and then 60 to 68. Those are the worst levels, and also the first 10 to 20 levels, because you have like no movement speed and you're in Heist. You kind of feel like, I don't know what I'm doing here. It doesn't make any sense, right? But if you get to level 68, it gets way faster. Like on this stream alone, we got like an extra 20 levels or something just because we hit level 68, and all of a sudden the XP exploded from like 25 mil per hour to, I think, like 160 mil per hour or something right now. So yeah, if you want to play this event, just know the start sucks. It gets better over time. Overall, I think this is an extremely lazy put up event. I think it's very lazy from GGG to put out this event like this, not really thinking about most of the things. Also, what I would have wished would have happened is they remove some of the rewards that are just completely useless for this event, like breach rewards, map rewards, prophecy rewards. Like, they could have put in a little bit of effort. I get it. It's like they don't want to put in too much because they don't get any money out of it, but still. I think a little bit of passion, a little bit of time would have gone a long way. But that's it for the video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, subscribe. As always, huge thank you to my Twitch subscribers and my Patreons. I couldn't do this without you. Thank you so much. And yeah, so far, Endless Heist is pretty fun. I will give you another update when I'm done with the build. I don't know exactly what I want to do with it. Currently, we're like rank 20 or something in Deadeye terms. So we're probably going to stop somewhere 90 to 95. Probably going to go another 2 days at least. So yeah, another update video at the end. Overall, this build is really fun. I think it fits very well into Heist. And yeah, since I still don't have a slogan, see you next time.